How's it going, everybody? It's AJ, and welcome back to the world of Satisfactory. It has been a while since I actually played this, because primarily I've been playing Silent Hill F on the channel, but now that that is completed, I now have more time to put into this game. So here we go. We're going to continue right where I last left off. Honestly, I don't quite remember where I last left off. I do remember I did some stuff off screen that was needed in order to help make everything run a little bit more smoothly. And what I ended up doing was basically increase the production of plastic, because I noticed that when I was going to all of my other things, and especially moving forward, especially with newer things needing to be made, I needed way more plastic in order to get everything to be running efficiently. And so what I ended up doing was I went back here, if I bring up the map, I went back here over to my oil factory and I added another refinery using the blue ore or whatever that comes. I don't even think it's ore. I don't quite remember what it's called. It's the blue stuff. It's like the excess blue stuff coming out of one of the other refineries that's being made. And you're able to combine that with another resource in order to make plastic. It's one of the things that you can actually make. So if I go to if I type in right here and for plastic, you click on here, you have multiple ways of doing it. Here it is. It's the residual plastic, polymer resin. So it's made out of a refinery using just oil, and then you get the fuel, and then you also get the polymer resin. And then for a while, I had this stuff going into a awesome shop, if you recall, but I ended up realizing that I can actually just make another refinery, combine it with water, and be able to make more plastic. And so I ended up doing that, so we now have a lot more plastic being made. And the reason why I did that is so that I can actually increase the production of my aluminum, because I realized moving forward here into the next things coming up, especially with advanced aluminum production, we are going to be needing a lot more aluminum sheets, and as well as a lot more aluminum casings. As you can see here, for a while, like, you guys didn't see it, but this was actually going really fast. This was going away really fast because of what was being made over here in the blenders. And it was taking it, like, this is at 75 per minute, I believe. And that was just eating out like everything from the container here. So I needed a lot more plastic. And so I went around and did a lot of merging and converging with the plastic. And you can now see plastic is moving at a really faster and better rate, going into all the essential things at their respective rates in order to get everything working properly. So for example here, like this right here is actually being like split. I like, just to show you guys how it's going here, I'll show you guys real quick. So I have way more plastic being made. So this is actually filling up. So this is nice. I want this to be like the overstock. And then we have this right here, which is a Mach 2 belt going out here at 120 per minute, which is then getting split 60-60. However, I only needed 30 per minute going into this assembler that's making the circuit boards. As you can tell here, I only need 30 per minute in order to make this at 100% efficiency. So the remaining 30 is then coming back down here and merging with this 60 right here, becoming 90 per minute. So I have this going down here. But then I actually don't need 90 per minute here. I actually only need 30 per minute to going to like 3 different things. So there's a lot of different things. I have like 30 here, 30 there, and then 30 there. So because this is going into this manufacturer for the computers at 30 per minute, right? And then this 30 here is coming out here and then actually re-merging back to here to make this 60 per minute. And this 60 per minute is actually going on over to the drone, because the 60 per minute is what is needed in order to make the canisters in order to get the water over at the aluminum side to be fully efficient and making the and not having like excess water. So like the aluminum stuff is now being making so much more at a way better rate, way more efficient, and I'm now getting a lot more of that stuff coming back. I know that was a lot, but I just wanted to explain to you guys that's what I did off screen because it's very important. I realized that plastic was really needed, especially when dealing with aluminum. And while I was doing all that, I was actually able to get the objective done, the milestone for leading edge production. And that is now all completed, so I can go ahead and turn that in. And while that was all going on, I actually have the fused modular frames actually being stored, and they're going up pretty fast. They're getting filled pretty fast. So this is going pretty well. So pretty good. The only thing that is not being made right now by itself is the supercomputers. I actually had to make those all by hand, but it was okay. I don't know if I'm gonna need supercomputers. I sure hope I don't, but we're about to find out. So the next thing in line that we're gonna be doing here is leading edge production. See what we can do with this and what is unlocked. So let's go ahead and send this on up and see what's next. All right, so with leading edge production unlocked, we now have unlocked thermal propulsion rockets, which is actually needed for a space elevator item for completing phase 4. And then we get turbo motors unlocked, as well as minor Mach 3s. Minor Mach 3s does a default extraction rate of 240 resources per minute. So that is awesome to know. Turbo motors are probably going to be very important, and I'm going to have to actually know how to make those. So let's actually figure out what we need in order to make turbo motors. So if I go here and go to turbo motors, in order to make turbo motors, they're made in a manufacturer, and they require 4 cooling systems, and they're made in a blender for this. You then need 2 radio control units, which is another thing made in a manufacturer. And then you need 4 motors, which I have being made, and then you need a bunch of rubber. And rubber is already being made as well. So this is getting quite advanced. Really quite advanced. So the first thing though, as you can kind of see here, there are actually a decent amount of things. It's like in a line in order to actually get what you need. So like I need heat sinks in order to be made. In order to make heat sinks, I actually need to use the aluminum sheets and the copper sheets in order to do that. And they're made in a constructor. So this is on then be used with in a blender. So I need to first get the heat sinks, the heat sinks made, and then have those converted with water and nitrogen gas. Crazy. So I'm actually going to have to convert one of these blenders that I have over here in order to make the turbo motors. So I already have one of them being converted, so the other one will be converted. I have plenty of nitrogen gas coming into here, so I should be okay with that. Just a matter of getting everything else over to here. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and see what I can do to get it all set up, what I need to make, where I need to make it at in order to get it to work, and if I even have everything needed in order to get it to work. So the first thing is going to be the heat sinks, which needs copper sheets as well as aluminum sheets, and they're made in an assembler. I need to figure out exactly how many copper sheets it needs 10 per minute, I believe. Oh, that's not right. That's actually wrong. I need to know how many heat sinks per minute it needs in order for it to work. So, because right now heat sinks are not heat sinks. I actually need to find out how many copper sheets are needed for it to actually operate and function. And as you can tell right now, I have copper sheets going into another thing right here. These are actually going out into 2 different things here. So I got to actually figure out what is needed at whatever rate in order for it to work, because I may not have it being made, because copper sheets are currently going into here for the AI limiters, which are not being made at 100% rate because they need to be at 25 per minute, and I do not have that right now. The copper sheets are actually also fully maxed out right here, going up right here. These are going on up here into this one for the circuit boards. So, but these are at 15 per minute. So that is a total of, one is at, what is it, 25 per minute, and the other one is at 15. So that's 40 per minute needed to be contributed just to these right here. So that's the thing, but I also don't know how many I have being made from its source, because these are empty. So I may need to increase the rate of the copper sheets in order to get this to work. I do have another copper node, I believe, not being used over here. Maybe not. This is a normal node. I may be able to increase, this is a Mach 2. I could increase this to a Mach 3, or because I overclock this to be way faster. Let's see. Where are my copper sheets at being made? I think they're going directly into here. Well, that's wire. Need to figure out where the copper sheets are being made. I think they're right here. Here they are. I think these are copper sheets. Okay. So these are only being made at 25 per minute, which is pretty bad. I need this to be like way faster. Unless I have another recipe for this, but I don't think I have another recipe for copper sheets. So that is pretty bad. We are going to have to redo the whole copper sheet thing, because that is not enough. I need to get way more out of here being made. So let's figure this out. I'm gonna go ahead and figure this out, and I'll see you guys once it's all done. How about that? Because this is probably gonna take me quite a while. All right, I believe I now increased the amount of copper needed. I may be one short, but if needed, I should be able to adjust it by redoing the logistics somewhere. But what I ended up doing was I ended up overclocking the miner right here to basically be doing 300 per minute of copper ore. It's coming up through this belt right here. This is then being split 150 into this one. This is overkill. I don't necessarily need this to be doing what it's doing, but it's doing, it's just whatever. 150 then going this way. This is being split 75-75. That is because in this one, 75 per minute gives me 75 per minute copper ingots. And then same thing for this one, 75 per minute for 75 per minute copper ingots. And then these are being combined together down to here to become 150 copper ingots per minute going down this belt, going straight down into here, being split 3 different ways, 50, 50, 50, going into 3 constructors, all dedicated to copper sheets, all overclocked to 250%, so that they are making a total of 75 copper sheets per minute going out, up, and into the main hub. And now it's just a matter of trying to split them and get it all situated to have the necessary ones being dedicated to the recommended things. So 75 per minute is going out into here, being merged down into here, and eventually will be finding its way down into their storage containers right here. Yeah, right here, this is the way they are. And in terms of whether or not this is being filled or not, I have no idea. But I may have this working not in the best way, because I have them coming out of 2 separate outputs, which may be screwing everything up. So what I may need to do is try to work our way from the most to the least in order to get everything to work. So let's go ahead and see what it, because this batch right here is not getting any for some reason. So I need to actually fix this, because this only needs 25 per minute. And then the other one is going up here into here. This one only needs 15, or I believe 15 per minute. So that gives me a remaining amount of 35 left over. So I may be able to split a certain way in order to get it to work. I'm going to be one shy, but that's fine. If one's operating at like 98% or something, I'm okay with that. So let me go ahead and get this fixed so that we get this working, and hopefully it'll be doing what it's intended. So let me go ahead and do this. All right, well, this blender will be making the cooling system, so I no longer need this. So there's that. There's no excess fuel coming out of here, so we will disable this. Alright, I now need to actually drop this because this is hurting me. Alrighty, there we have it. We have the heat sinks coming down into here, merging onto this line right here, going into here for this blender. I have the nitrogen split right here, going around and into here, and then I made another water extractor right here to go into this blender. So the only thing that we have missing is the 12 per minute of the rubber. So let me go ahead and get the rubber over here. It's gonna be the same thing like I did with these. I'm just gonna add it to this line and then get it over here. And I have so much rubber, and I haven't even touched rubber, that this should be fairly quick. Not that bad. All right, I don't know how you are done. There we go, it actually works out. All right, there we have it. There's the rubber. All right, rubber going into here. Now we are officially able to produce the cooling system at 6 per minute. Actually, I could probably, well, nope, I'm limited to the 2 heat sinks. So 6 per minute is all I can make. That is actually a fact. I can't really do anything else. So let me go ahead and just put the 200 rubber that I, for some reason, had in my inventory into there, just so that is taken care of. Let that just continue to be made. All right, so we're making 6 per minute of the cooling system. I wonder if I need to send that back on over to here and into its own container. I'm gonna do that actually. May as well, right? There we have it. Alrighty. So we have the fused modular frames going right here. This is actually at 100%, which is nice. This right here. Wait a minute. I could probably overclock this if I want to, but I won't, because I don't know what else I need it to be. But this is being made at 6 per minute, going up into here, merging with this. So this should have everything coming into here. It gets merged onto this line right here. I totally screwed this up when I could have just had it all merging onto a single line going onto this line from here, instead of having well, technically only 2 things are actually coming out of here. I lied. Oh yeah, I'm right. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, they're coming in, merging right there, and then it should split into this container. So this container will be dedicated to the cooling system. So I need to go ahead and make a sign right here. Actually, I don't think it actually matters. All right, so cooling systems will be going into here. So this should be merging oh so shortly. Yeah, there you have it. It's all kind of mixed, but it's 6 per minute going into this container. So we now have cooling system being made, at least at a pretty decent efficiency. 6 per minute. Not quite sure what is needed in order for what was made. It was that turbo, right? I don't know how many per minute we need for it. Is it the turbo motor? We need 4 being made. So I don't know how many per minute that is needing, but that also needs a decent amount of stuff. And we also have these radio control units being made in a manufacturer. This is getting really complex. I am going to probably hold off there for now and start to see what's needed for the next milestone, because I need to figure out what to do with this, because I'm limited by that. Once that's full, I am screwed. So I need to see what is next in the manufacturing here. Let's go ahead and do that. So up next is the last thing for tier 8, which is particle enrichment, which requires a lot of stuff. We need 50 turbo motors, 100 fused modular frames, 200 cooling systems, and 2,500 quick wire. Now the really nice thing about this is that is done, that is done, that will be soon done. And then we need 50 turbo motors, which can be also made in a crafting bench. So technically, I don't need to make these in a manufacturer, because the production rate is only 1.875 per minute. So it may be faster to just do that by hand. I may just do that. So let me go ahead and select this milestone and see what we can get done real quick. See how fast this is. And this is the last thing I unlock before needing to complete phase 4. And once you complete phase 4, honestly, I don't know what else you can really do in this game besides just improving your factory. Is the game technically beaten at that point if you have completed phase 4? Like, I don't know. So let's go ahead and grab what is necessarily needed for particle enrichment. We need the fused modular frames. We need 100 of these. So there's that. That's already done. We need a lot of quick wire. So let's go and grab 2,500. So I need 5 stacks of that. That is done. All right. And then we need to make the turbo motors, as well as the 200 of the cooling systems. The cooling systems is going to take a little while for it to ramp up, but let me go ahead and sort this all through here. Cool. All right, so let's actually, I may have actually found some in, oh, I did. I found 10. That's right. I did find some. Oh yeah, that's perfect. I did find some by exploring and getting some hard drive disks. That is correct. I totally forgot about that. No more hard drives. So pretty much I'm just needing to wait to get a large amount of these back stock so that I can make these for the turbo motors. I need to be able to make 50 of these. So let me go ahead and see what I need in order to add this to the to-do list and make this 50. All right. So, oh, I added it to the list and then I screwed it up. All right, here we go. We need 50 of these. All right, so I need 200 motors, 1,200 rubber. This is full, so let me go ahead and just add 200 of this. So there's that, that's done. We need radio control units and rubber. So let me go ahead and grab the rubber since it's just sitting here with a full stack. I need a decent amount here. All right, so that's done. Radio control units, I believe, require a decent amount of stuff. Radio control units, I can make it at a crafting bench. I need 100 of it. I need basically 200 computers, 100 of the crystal oscillators, and 64 of the radio control units, or of the aluminum casings. Okay. See, are the cooling systems coming in here? We got 88 cooling systems already. That is awesome. So I pretty much just have to wait for this to fill up again, and then get the crystal, like get all this made, and then we'll be on to particle enrichment. So I'm gonna go ahead and call that here though, for this one, because it's just a matter of just me just sitting here and waiting for everything to build up. So thanks again for watching this one, guys. We were able to get the cooling system made in the second blender, and we got it being funneled over into here. It's not 100% efficient, but at least they're being made and at a pretty close efficiency that I am okay with. So that is perfectly fine with me. Now we're starting to try to see what we can do with the nuclear waste that's being made over there, but I first need to get on over to particle enrichment, which will be in the next one, and we'll figure out what to do with that over there. But yeah, this has been quite the journey so far. I'm not quite sure how much longer I'm going to continue going into here. I don't know if I'm just going to call it once I complete phase 4 or go further. Not quite sure yet, because phase 4 is going to require a lot of stuff being made. And ultimately, what I probably would do is just disconnect everything that is not necessary and just put all my effort into making whatever those 4 things are. But I'm not quite sure yet. We'll see. Also, it's getting pretty advanced, which with the way that I have everything set up, I'm running out of space. I'm going to have to probably like redo a bunch of stuff, so we'll see. Yeah, this game's just been quite the journey. But yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.